Okay, guys, I'm going to go quickly on how I would do this problem. Number one, we already covered it in class, but let's go over it again really quickly. I have my reading my problem. We push a 15-kilogram box to the right with a force of 250 newtons. Coefficient of friction is 0.5. What's the acceleration? I'll label my givens first. F equals 15 kilograms. FA, and I know this is a force applied because I said it's a push to the right, 250 newtons right. And the coefficient of friction, I'm just going to copy here the mu so I don't have to find it again. That mu is going to equal 0.5. So how do I know that's not my friction? It doesn't have a Newton on it. It said the coefficient of friction beforehand, so that's a hint. But the fact that it doesn't have the Newton, that's my definitive proof that that's not the force of friction. It's only the coefficient. Now I need a free body diagram, and to do that, I'm going to go to Insert, Drawing, New. We've always used boxes for these. So I'm going to put in a box. So here is my box. I have two choices on how to put in my arrows. I can go to the line and select the arrow, or I can go into my shapes and select an arrow. They have an up, a down, a left and right. So I'm going to go ahead this time with the arrows from there. I have one that's down. And that's always going to be the first one I think of because that's my force of gravity. And if I have one down, I should have one up. It's on a surface, so I have an up arrow. That's going to counteract my force of gravity. And that's my normal. And now I have to go back and see which way I pushed it because I forgot. It said it was being pushed to the right. So I'm going to double click on my drawing. I know my FA is to the right. So I'm putting an arrow to the right. And then I know that my friction has to be the left then, because we said there's a coefficient of friction. I have a friction to the left. Now I'm not 100% sure right now that my friction is smaller than my force applied, but we haven't done a problem in which it's not. So I think I'm fairly comfortable saying that it's probably going to be smaller. I drew that one really small. And we'll put that in. That's my FA. And this one is my FF. Save and close. I have my free body diagram. Now, what can I solve for? I don't have FG. Something I said in class is if I give you three equations, you're going to use three equations. We're not giving you anything you're not going to use. So let's start with the FG. I can do that one real quick. I gave you the mass. So my FG is equal to the 15 kilograms times 10 meters per second squared. So my FG is equal to 150 newtons. Now, why did I do that? Because my force of friction has a normal in it, and I know in my drawing, my FG is equal to my normal. Okay, so because my FG equals my normal, I can simply say that my normal is now 150 newtons. I wanted to find my normal because I need it for my force of friction. So now I'm going to copy my force of friction equation, and that would be my next step. I want to solve for it. So I have F sub F equals the mu I have right up here. So I'm going to just put that in, the coefficient of friction, which was 0.5, and the normal that I solved for. So 0.5 times 150, so my force of friction equals 0.5 times 150, which is 75 newtons. Now there is an equation that I have to come up with, which is not written at the top of this page, and that's the net force that I get from my free body diagram. I know my Fg is equal to my normal, so I have to do the rest of the equation. So my F net is equal to Fa, or is not equal, sorry. My F net is equal to Fa minus F of F. So I'm going to write that to show that I know that. Fa a lot of typos, but that's fine. Minus F. And why am I subtracting it? Because the Fa is to the right and the Ff is to the left. So now I have my F net is equal to the force applied was 250 newtons. My force of friction, we just said, was 75 newtons. 250 minus 75, that is going to give me 175. So my F net equals 175 newtons to the right. And now there's the third equation I haven't used yet, so I'm going to highlight it, copy it, Control C, bring it down, paste it in, and now I solve for my A. A equals the F net, which we said was 175 newtons, divided by the mass, which is 15 kilograms. And then just with a calculator, I do 175 divided by 15. 175 divided by 15, and the answer I get is 11.6 repeating. So my answer is 11.7 meters per second squared. Small pieces of information to subscript it and full comma. So that gets me subscript and to superscript it Control 3. I hope this helps out. These are the steps that you need to follow to solve a Newton's second law problem. If I give you 3 equations, use all 3 equations.